Listen, you can't just read the Bible. You got to read the Bible. So Corey says, where are the eggs and the rabbits in the scriptures? Yes, the word means sunrise and has a direct connection with the spring goddess Yostra. We're going to cover all of that tomorrow. I'm not going to get into that video right now. But if you actually read the Bible, you will see that the Bible uses words and concepts from pagan cultures in order to contextualize the gospel of Jesus Christ. Roll the tape. In John 1:1, the writer says, in the beginning was the Word. Now, if you know anything about this particular word, it is the word logos, or some pronounce logos. Let's check it out. All right. In Greek, the word logos was something that referred to the divine expression or the divine communication of something. It was not a Christian word. Let's look at where the word logos comes from. The Greek term translated word was also used by philosophers, not Christians, not Jewish people, not Israelites, but philosophers, to mean reason. You see there people like Philo. John uses the word or the logos and calls Jesus the embodiment of all of God's revelation in the scriptures. He takes a word that we today would consider a pagan word used by philosophers, and he takes this word and contextualizes it to talk to his audience about who Jesus is. Let's keep going. So who else used this word? The Stoics, 300 years before Christ. They understood logos to be the active principle, the divine reason or plan, the divine fire, which organizes and gives forms to passive, unformed matter. This was not a Christian word. So again, John is taking this word that has pagan use, pagan context, and he contextualizes it to preach the gospel. Paul, he goes and he's speaking to the people of Athens. And what does he say? For as I was passing through and observing the objects of your worship, I even found an altar on which was inscribed to an unknown God. Therefore, what you worship in ignorance, this I proclaim to you. Paul takes something that is there, what would have been an idol, and he says, hey, this unknown God that y'all are worshiping, let me tell you about him. That God, that thing that he was looking at wasn't God, but he took something that was familiar to them and contextualized it to preach the gospel. So miss me with all of this stuff that everything has got to be directly in the Bible. Paul was looking at Roman centurion's armor and wrote about the whole armor of God. The Bible is full of people taking things that are familiar to the context that they are in and using them as tools to preach the gospel to people. So if people today want to use something that their audience is familiar with that's not in the Bible and contextualize it to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, there is historical precedent in the Bible for people doing that. So that's all I got to say for now. And I'm going to go back to the rest of the videos. You can't just read the Bible. You got to read the Bible, bro.